Hello and welcome, I'm Nikita.
I'm Miraj and you are watching Tech It Out. Now algorithms, they are everywhere. We encounter them when we're looking for airline tickets, swiping on a dating app, going through our social media feeds.
Well, they affect what we read, what we buy, and to some degree, even our worldview is shaped by them, which would all be very well in a utopian world, but, well, there's no such place.
There isn't. So this week, we take a deep dive into how algorithms affect social media, how social media is spurring the French to take up fishing in the Seine. We check out an analog camera collection, and we'll give you all the gen from Apple's annual show, WWDC 2026. A series of steps carried out in a sequential manner to achieve a desired result. That's the definition of an algorithm. I haven't been able to get them out of my mind at all. Now, when an ad pops up on my social media feed or I get recommendations, I wonder whether I'm really interested or whether it's an algorithm just using my confirmation bias.
Well, I think algorithms influence far more than entertainment. They shape public opinion, political conversations, cultural trends, and of course, our online experiences. And here's all you need to know about algorithms and how they work.
What is an algorithm? Let's start simple. An algorithm is nothing more than a recipe, a set of step-by-step instructions to get a job done. A recipe for a cake is an algorithm. So is the method you learned in school for multiplication and division. Follow the steps in a particular order and you get a specific result. Now, algorithms for computers are written in code. And the ones, like for example, the one that curates your Facebook feed, isn't a short list of steps a human wrote. They are machine learning systems, algorithms written by an algorithm that's been fed billions of examples until it can teach itself how to make itself better. And here's the catch. Even the engineers who've built these systems can't always explain why an algorithm chooses what it chooses. Now, to be fair, algorithms are one of the greatest tools of our age. They are fast, they're efficient, and they reduce human error. The same math that picks your next video also finds you the fastest route home. Flags a fraudulent transaction on your card in milliseconds, translates a language you've never spoken, and helps a radiologist spot a tumor the human eye can miss. Used well, algorithms sort the chaos of the modern world into something usable. The problem isn't the tool. The problem is what we've asked it to do. On social media, a recommendation engine doesn't care whether something is true, kind, or even good for you. It's built to maximize your attention. And it turns out nothing holds attention quite like outrage, fear, and things that confirm what we already believe.
Algorithms are designed to maximize engagement. The more number of hours a user spends time on a platform, the more advertising they can show to the platform. So while the algorithms' goals are neutral in the sense that it is to maximize engagement, it is to make profit like any other business, but the outcome is sometimes not neutral because the user comes with their own biases and then engages with content that they like.
We know this because the companies studied it themselves. The company's own research found that Instagram made body image problems worse for about 1 in 3 teenage girls, and that a notable share of teens who felt suicidal traced those feelings back to the app. Then there's what happens when that data is weaponized. In 2018, the world learned that a firm called Cambridge Analytica had harvested the data of up to 87 million Facebook users to build psychological profiles and target voters with tailor-made political ads. The same machine that sells you a pair of shoes can be tuned to sell you a candidate or a conspiracy. And because these systems learn from us, they learn our biases as well. A widely cited 2016 investigation found that an algorithm used in American courts to predict who might re-offend was falsely flagging black defendants as high risk at nearly twice the rate of white defendants. The code wasn't malicious, it simply learned from a biased world and regurgitated that bias back to us, but wearing the mask of mathematical objectivity.
We need to also understand that the recommendation algorithms, which are showing us what we want to see, is because they presume this is what we want to see. If that algorithm is showing what the company wants you to see, it's against that company's self-interest because it's a profit-making entity. You will tune out sooner or later if you don't see what you like.
Now, if you zoom out, the deepest cost isn't to any one of us, it's to the thing we share. When every person sees their own personalized version of reality, we slowly lose a common one. Researchers call this filter bubble or confirmation bias. The feed shows you more of what you already agree with, until the other side stops looking wrong and starts looking evil. And now the newest twist, when the algorithm doesn't just sort reality but manufactures it. In 2024, a fake robocall using an AI clone of President Biden's voice told New Hampshire voters to stay home. Cost about $1.20 to make. There's a growing problem of AI clone voices of people's loved ones calling them purportedly in an emergency asking for funds. When anything can be faked, people stop believing anything is real, including the truth. The feed is only the most visible algorithm in your life. But algorithms are everywhere. They are models trained on your data, deciding what you see, what you pay, and who you meet.
So it all boils down to the same fundamental incentive of keeping people angered at each other, whatever their ideologies are, whether it is gender-based, caste-based, religion-based, race-based. As long as people stay divided and angry at each other, it ensures more clicks and engagement with the content that is being served.
For decades, airlines have used dynamic pricing software, which is why the passenger in the next seat may have paid half of what you did. Dating apps don't really match you on the tick boxes in your profile. They learn from what you actually do, who you swipe right on, who you message, how long you linger on a profile, and then use machine learning to predict who you like and, crucially, who is likely to like you back. The romance might feel like chance, but the reality is engineered. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. The algorithm isn't coming for us from some distant future. It's already here in our pockets, at our dinner tables, in children's bedrooms. But it is a mirror, a machine built to learn us and sell our attention back to us. The question isn't whether the code is smart enough. It's whether we are still the ones deciding what to think.
Nikita, have you ever used analog cameras? I say that only because I think you're too young to have used them.
No, but I'm very fond of them for sure, and they're coming back into fashion, if I'm not wrong.
Well, they are too. I remember my very first camera was this rectangular Fuji film. It only took like 24 shots.
Yeah.
But analog cameras are back in fashion. In fact, some of them command a really, really high price. I saw scores of them being sold in Japan.
Oh, wow. And there's a city called Khobar in Saudi Arabia where one collector has one of the most amazing collections of these old cameras.
In the Saudi city of Khobar, a private home has been transformed into a space dedicated to the history of photography. Inside, hundreds of vintage cameras are carefully arranged, each reflecting a different stage in the evolution of image making.
The museum contains more than 2,300 pieces that tell the details of photography from its beginnings to the latest technologies that photography has reached. The museum certainly helps people, especially photographers, to understand the stages of development of photography from its invention stages and the seed of photography from about 1,000 years ago until now.
The collection belongs to a camera enthusiast who has spent years gathering rare and historic pieces from inside and outside Saudi Arabia. The journey began in childhood when a video camera gifted to his father first sparked an interest in photography and filmmaking.
The first piece I owned in the museum was a piece that we received as a gift in 1989. The idea started from there. I loved this camera. It was a video camera gifted to my father. I used to love it a lot, and I used to use it a lot. Maybe this sparked my passion, making me go into this field and focus on it.
Over time, that interest developed into a large personal archive of more than 2,300 cameras. Many of the pieces were sourced through international auctions and private collectors, bringing together equipment from different eras and countries. The museum-like space also highlights how photography has evolved, from early experimental techniques to today's digital imaging systems. visitors can also explore an interactive display that recreates the traditional process of developing printed photographs. For many visitors, the collection offers a rare opportunity to see the progression of camera technology in one place. Photographers who have visited the space note that it includes equipment dating back several decades, some of which they have personally used in the past. The collection also features rare and historically significant cameras, including models associated with well-known public figures.
This place that you see is, let's say, a family place for our family. The idea initially was to set up the Tabin Museum here in 2004. After that, the idea was expanded to the Camera Museum. So they became two museums in the same place. So it is primarily a family place to start with.
According to its curator, the purpose of the collection is to help people understand how photography has developed over time and how each stage has contributed to modern imaging. The space continues to grow as new pieces are added, preserving a visual record of how cameras have changed across generations.
Is there anything that robots can't do? We've seen them become better at walking, taking somersaults, lifting objects, and even performing simple tasks. But there's one thing that remains incredibly difficult, and that is replicating the movement of the human hand.
And that's because our hands are capable of thousands of subtle movements every day. Now, researchers at MIT are exploring a way to bridge that gap. They've come up with an ultrasound-powered wristband that can read movements beneath the skin and use them to control a robotic hand in real time.
Here's the story.
Recent advances in robotics are focusing on how machines can better interpret and replicate human movement. At the same time, researchers are developing new ways to connect the human body directly to robotic systems. One such development allows real-time control of robotic hands using signals captured from the human arm. At the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, researchers have created an ultrasound-based wristband that tracks subtle movements beneath the skin. The device is worn on the forearm and uses high-frequency sound waves to detect motion in muscles, tendons, and ligaments. These signals are then processed by artificial intelligence, which converts them into precise commands for a robotic hand. The system enables the robotic hand to replicate human finger movements in real time. The technology is designed to capture continuous motion data and translate it into usable robotic control inputs. It can detect a wide range of hand movements and convert them into multiple degrees of freedom, allowing for complex and detailed gestures. The human hand contains a high number of movement variations, making it one of the most difficult systems for robotics to replicate accurately.
There is a software component, which is the AI algorithm we developed that can decipher this image into continuous hand motion.
Previous methods were limited in how much motion they could capture, but AI-based processing now allows more complete tracking of hand activity. In testing, the system has demonstrated the ability to replicate detailed finger movements with minimal delay. The wristband operates wirelessly, allowing separation between the user and the robotic system during operation. Beyond direct control applications, the system is also being used to build large data sets of human motion. These data sets are intended to help train future robotic systems to perform tasks independently.
We can, save all the data we obtained. For example, the data for doing housework, the data for doing surgery, the data, for operating this camera. We can save all this data and use this data to train future robotic hand, so that the future robotic hand will learn from this data, and then they can operate potentially autonomously.
The same technology is also being explored for use in virtual reality systems, where accurate hand tracking is essential. By removing the need for external cameras or gloves, the system offers a more natural way to capture movement in digital environments. Researchers are also working on scaling the system for broader applications in robotics and human-machine interaction. The work represents a step towards more seamless integration between human movement and machine intelligence.
Social media is in the doghouse. There's no positive news about it anywhere. Countries around the world have been banning it for children, and I can't say I disagree.
True, but that's what makes this story kind of different. In Paris, there's a new social media trend called street fishing.
What does that even mean?
Well, young Parisians are taking up street fishing in exactly what it sounds like, showing off their catches and swapping tips on Instagram and TikTok.
Social media is helping turn an age-old hobby into a new urban trend in Paris. A growing number of people are taking up what is known as street fishing, casting lines into the Seine River in the heart of the French capital. The trend has been fueled by online communities on Instagram and TikTok, where anglers share photos, videos, and compete to show off their latest catches. For many of these anglers, street fishing is a chance to escape screens while still participating in an online culture.
Mais maintenant, les gens ils veulent se reconnecter un peu avec la nature par moment.
These days, young people want to reconnect with nature every now and then, and it helps them step away from their phones for a bit. So it's often nice to spend a Sunday fishing by the water. It just feels good.
Un dimanche à la pêche, à côté de l'eau, et ça fait du bien, quoi.
Fishermen can now be found across Paris, including near the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Alexandre III Bridge. The practice follows a catch-and-release approach, where fish are returned to the water after being caught. While the experience takes place outdoors, its growth is being driven by digital platforms, where thousands of posts document life along the riverbanks.
Quand on va montrer sur les réseaux, les gens...
It's quite cool, and the goal is to be online less. I think the more we post, the less we're actually on social media. It sounds weird when you put it that way, but that's how it is.
Directement et...
Technology is also changing how some people fish. In the western suburbs of Paris, entrepreneur Leo Lelievre has turned his passion for angling into a business. His company offers guided fishing trips on the Seine, using advanced sonar equipment to help clients find fish. The boats are fitted with live scope technology, which creates real-time underwater images on a screen. The system allows users to track fish movements, observe their behavior, and even learn to identify different species below the surface.
Voilà, c'est une technologie qui est aussi critiquée parfois parce que ça rend la pêche plus simple.
We are thrilled to offer this to our customers so they can see everything that's happening underwater when they spend a day out there. It's magical to see all the fish, the catfish swimming around, and the fish following the bait. It's a real adrenaline rush.
Une journée, parfois c'est magique de voir tous les poissons, les silures se balader, voir les poissons qui suivent derrière le leurre, ça donne de l'adrénaline.
Modern anglers now have access to sonar systems, digital mapping tools, and in some cases AI-powered software designed to analyze conditions and improve the chances of a catch. Though some old-school fishermen argue that high-tech tools remove the surprise element from the experience, the trend is also facing scrutiny from animal rights campaigners, who argue that even catch-and-release fishing can cause harm to animals.
Souffrance animale, et même si on relâche les poissons, ils sont blessés, ils ont vécu un stress intense en étant sortis brutalement de leur milieu.
Even if they are released, the animals may develop an infection in their mouths where the hook was. They may have difficulty feeding. They may die from it.
Là où il y a eu l'hameçon, ils peuvent avoir des difficultés à s'alimenter, ils peuvent en mourir. Et aussi, on se permet de faire souffrir, de stresser des animaux juste pour s'amuser, juste pour se divertir.
Some anglers also leave litter or abandoned gear along riverbanks, but despite the debate, street fishing continues to grow in popularity in Paris.
Apple has been the tortoise, not the hare, when it comes to artificial intelligence.
Well, that's right. For the past 2 years, the iPhone maker has faced criticism that it's moving too slowly while its rivals race ahead.
Yeah, but the narrative is slowly changing. People aren't happy about artificial intelligence these days.
Well, here's a look at Apple's annual developer conference, the WWDC 2026.
That's where the story isn't only about artificial intelligence, but increasingly security and privacy.
For
For the past 2 years, Apple has faced growing criticism that it is falling behind in the artificial intelligence race. At its annual Worldwide Developers Conference 2026, the iPhone maker tried to answer those critics. The company unveiled a series of new AI features with a strong focus on privacy, personalization, and everyday use. The centerpiece of Apple's announcements was a major overhaul of Siri. The company said its AI assistant can now understand what is on a user's screen, allowing it to provide contextual help without requiring users to switch between apps. Users will also be able to refer back to previous conversations with Siri.
Siri AI will not be available initially in the EU on iOS and iPadOS. We're working hard to find a path forward that preserves our users' privacy and security. In China, Siri AI and the other new Apple Intelligence features will not be available while we work through regulatory requirements.
Apple is also giving Siri its own dedicated application. Images, searches, and other AI interactions will now be stored in a standalone app, available across iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers. The company said the system will be synchronized through its private cloud computing technology, part of Apple's long-standing attempt to differentiate its AI strategy through privacy.
Today, many AI providers talk about privacy, but by default, most of them retain your personal interactions, leaving the onus on you to defend your privacy. Like using temporary chats, deleting conversations, or even turning off entire features. At Apple, we believe privacy in AI is non-negotiable.
Beyond AI, Apple also announced a number of software updates. The company said its new iOS 27 operating system will support devices as old as the iPhone 11, allowing millions of existing users to access the latest features. Apple also revealed that the next version of Mac OS will be called Golden Gate. The company expanded its child safety tools. New parental controls will allow kids to access only approved apps by default, while a new Ask to Browse feature will require permission before visiting new websites.
We're excited to bring a wide range of improvements to each of our platforms, making them even more useful and delightful.
But Apple's approach to AI remains different from many of its rivals. While tech companies have poured billions of dollars into AI development, many are still struggling to show how those investments will translate into profit. By contrast, Apple has taken a more measured approach, focusing on using AI to improve its devices while making privacy a central part of its pitch to customers. Whether that strategy will pay off remains unclear. Apple's shares fell nearly 2% during the WWDC presentation, suggesting investors are still waiting for proof that Apple can turn its AI ambitions into a competitive advantage.
I have so many questions when it comes to algorithms still. Who really controls them? And we were surrounded by them continuously as we sleep, as we wake up. What's your answer to that?
Well, big tech.
Okay. Do you have a question too?
Well, I think the natural follow-on question is who controls algorithms?
I believe the government.
Exactly. Exactly. Governments around the world have to control algorithms because think about it. What happens when systems that are designed by big tech to maximize user engagement and increase their profits begin shaping society, how we think about things? We want you to think about that this weekend.
And we'll see you in the next episode of Tech It Out. Keep watching WION World is One. Have a good one. Bye-bye.